Hello, beautiful people. This is Candace Edwards, the creator of I Am Beautiful 365, coming to you guys once again with an amazing Black-owned business. I'm excited to introduce you all to this wonderful woman. She is the creator of Raising Black Millionaires, and we want to talk to her about her business and some of her products so that we can all begin to support each other as a community, because as you guys know, this is something that I was doing a lot and I need to get back to, is telling you about the amazing businesses that I've run into that are run, operated, created by Black people, and they are some great businesses. So I'm going to introduce you all to Miss Tia Muhammad, the creator of Raising Black Millionaires.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Candace.
What's going on?
Everything is copacetic, as we used to say in the
As
90s. I'm stuck in the 90s, but yes, ma'am. It's all good.
I just saw a post about I'm going back to the 90s. Anybody want anything while I'm there?
Listen,
that was a wonderful time.
I'm trying to tell you, we could get a whole list. They knew not to let that come across my timeline because I'm there.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Raising Black Millionaires. What motivates you to create this business, and just tell us your inspiration behind it.
Well, that's a story indeed. Raising Black Millionaires actually started off as a blog. Well, if we really want to take it to the roots, it started off because I went to the Power Networking Conference. If anyone listening or watching has never heard of the Power Networking Conference, founded by George C. Fraser, you definitely want to Google that and check into it. It's an annual networking event for Black business owners, right? And when I went there, I was so inspired because I went there and everywhere I looked, I saw Black millionaires. And one Black billionaire who is from my hometown, who I just had never actually met. And so I just remember the love I felt in this conference, this networking event. And I remember everybody there was so eager to help everybody who attended, right? Nepotism was the topic of the day, right? And just for us, right? And I just remember feeling so inspired. And I woke up one morning throughout the event. It was like a 4-day conference. And I woke up one of the mornings, like maybe the second morning, and it came to me, wow, I wonder what these people were taught as children to help them to get to their points of success, because there was so many. When I tell you, you walk into not a room, a whole conference full of money.
It's a whole nother atmosphere.
Owned by folks who look like us, like that's something totally different. Like that was something I had never. I remember walking in and I'm like, is this what heaven is like? I'm like, oh my, I like this. I want to stay here. So, so I just wanted to know. I wanted to know because there were young people there. Very like young people. Dr. Fraser has a setup for his conference that for every registration for children or youth who are 17 to 20, I want to say 25, maybe 24, they can come for free for each paid registration, right? So that was a big deal to me because I'm like, these young people are getting an experience, an advantage, a head start in life that if I had that, where would I have been at that time? I was a struggling entrepreneur at the time. And I just was like, man, how much different would my life be? Better yet, how much different can I make my life, my children's lives, right? And so it came to me one morning, just like to make a long story short. It came to me one morning, why don't you just interview these people? Just ask and try to interview a few of them to find out what were some of the child rearing strategies and techniques their parents used to get them there, and which of those same strategies they use in raising their children, right? And apply it, right? And so I asked the first person, then I asked the second person, and I got yeses all the way around, and not just yes, but eager yeses. And so that's how the idea was, just to have an audio book. And it was just for me and my husband. But then I realized the stuff they were telling me was so profound, I had to share it. And so based off of that, I created the book, How to Raise Your Black Child to Be a Millionaire: Child Rearing Secrets of the Black Elite, Volume 1. And then from there, we developed the blog, because parents, after they read the book, they wanted to know next steps.
Yeah.
You know, okay, this is great. How can I apply this that Keith Weiss said here on this page, you know? And so I developed the blog from there. And then from there, we developed a podcast. So we have the Raising Black Millionaires podcast, which can be found on iTunes. And for the past year or so, we've been on Verkay Radio. That's the sister station of Bashani Radio. And now you can just find us right on raisingblackmillionaires.com or iTunes. But we are working on our television show now. Wow. So we're looking to do our first episode in the fall, the middle of the fall. So we're super excited about that. But so from there, we just started developing products that would really help make this thing easier for us busy parents, because we busy. Yeah. Then you got a whole lot of time to do nothing for nothing.
Man, I was just talking about that now. It's like you want to pour so much into your children. It's like, when do you have time to?
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to the cards, because I guess I'm wondering, what made you go from the book to now offering the cards, and are they similar, or like what? Tell me a little bit about it.
So the beauty about, so the cards that you're referencing are the Raising Black Millionaires flashcards, Volume 1, right? And so one of the things that became just extremely apparent, it was really like in the forefront of my mind before. Like we've been working on these cards for quite some time, because we just wanted to make sure that our people know more about the many Black millionaires that we have. Like and specifically those who earned their millions in business, not entertainment, not sports, in business, right? And not just business, but business from various different industries, right? Because we just don't know, unless you're the type of person who is a reader of Black Enterprise, or you pay attention to that kind of stuff, you don't know. A prime example of that is when Robert F. Smith, I was just talking to Lamar Tyler about it, I guess about a month ago, when we were talking, and he was like, you know, when Robert F. Smith paid for all of those graduates' student loans, you know, no one knew who he was, right? They're like, Robert F. Smith, like, who is this Black man who can afford to pay off the student loan debt for all of these people, right? And then they found out he's a billionaire, right? One of the few we have in this country, right? And it's like, but Lamar and I were talking, he was like, but you've been trying to get us to look at people like that. I like, Lamar, I know, bruh. So that's the thing. We need to be, just as a community, we need to be aware of who our giants, our current present day giants are, who are making history in real time in various different industries, so that we can help our children to really know that there literally is no limit to the different things that you can aspire to.
That was like a huge thing for me, and a reason why I even created the platform I created, because I'm like, because I teach. So, you know, when I ask my students, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? Things like that. 99% of the boys want to be football player, basketball player, or a rapper.
Yeah.
And I would get so frustrated with that answer, but then I would have to ask myself, why do they want to do this?
Right.
And it's because that's all that they see. So if
Yeah.
that's all that you see, and if that's all that you're introduced to, and you think that that's the only way to become a millionaire, then of course that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's about us becoming more knowledgeable. Even like things like I love finding posts about Black doctors or Black lawyers or just professionals, so that you see this can be a part of my future. I can be wealthy and not have to just be an athlete. Those aren't my only options. Exactly. So something like this to show our youth, like, we have a plethora of millionaires and this is what they did to get there. Literally. It just opens up that door to so many more options. So like that's exciting. That's extremely exciting, because I just feel like that's all that's ever put in front of them. Athletes and entertainers.
And you know, I'm gonna tell you one thing that we like to do in our Raising Black Millionaires parent group is we like to encourage, and just in our platform in general, we really like to encourage families to do two really big things. Converse during dinner time, like actually sit down and have a meal together, right? Mm-hmm. And converse, like don't just, you know, or be on your phones, you know what I mean? But also we like to encourage them or us to read more, or just take in information more as a collective, as one unit. And one of the books we often encourage parents to read, or families to read, is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough's book, The Wealth Choice, where in that book he specifically talks about the significance of the reason why he went into such research, or such depth of research for that book, where he also interviewed Black millionaires who made their millions in avenues other than entertainment and sports. And he talks about that very thing that you just got through mentioning, and the significance of just giving us more than that, which, you know, if you read Earl Graves' book, from the founder of Black Enterprise, he talks about how much that concept was significant in him establishing Black Enterprise magazine. Because if you look in there, then, and if that's your world, if you are a consumer of that material from Black Enterprise, and they put out some wonderful material, whether it's in the tech industry, whether it's business, whether it's finance, whatever it is, if you absorb the material in publications like that, then your world will only be of Black excellence. You won't even know that there's anything subpar for our people that even exist. And so that's the thing, like that's the inspiration behind the Raising Black Millionaires movement, is that we grow ourselves up. We create a standard and a how-to, an actual blueprint to attaining and maintaining that standard, so that it can just be who we are. Like it's not just one in a million of us that we highlight. It would be no big deal when we see a Robert F. Smith, because hell, we won't even have to worry about paying for tuition or student loans. Who has student loans? Because our community can take care of that. Like, it's no big deal, right? Because it's just who we are.
And it's just, I believe that it's real. Representation is important. And if you literally never have met, seen, heard of a self-made Black millionaire, like if you ask a child now, like name some millionaires, 90% of them will be athletes. You'll have your Oprah Winfrey, you'll have a few other people, but like they literally don't know, because again, that's all that's in front of them. Like we have to expose our children to these different things so that they know that they're capable. Because the second that they know they're capable, or that they can see somebody else that looks like them doing it, then that belief level is there. Like the president. Like, how many Black boys were saying they wanted to be president until they saw Barack Obama? So it's just like, if they see it, then they can seize it. That's like one of my favorite quotes. If you see it, you can seize it. So that, like, that has to be a part of our regular conversation. And we have fallen off so bad, because we used to put out a blog at least once a week about these so-called phenomenons in our community.
Right.
You know, people killing it in the tech industry. The first Black woman to like, and this is recent stuff. Like, we still have first Blacks to do stuff still in 2019.
Right.
So this is material that we used to stay on top of, and like, you inspiring me to get back to it. But just putting that in front of them and keeping those types of things there is vital for our success. It's vital.
Yeah. And one of the things just to kind of add to that whole point, because it's such a beautiful point, is the fact that not only do we as a collective, because it's not just the children who don't know, the parents don't know. Like, we don't even know where to start. We don't know this information about who our Black millionaires are, right? Mm-hmm. But on top of that, most of us don't even know how to find out about who they are. And so one of the objectives we really wanted to meet with our Raising Black Millionaires cards is enabling any observer of the cards to pick up the card, learn about one of our giants, right? And be able to look up their social media handle and follow them in real time. So like, if you see their Instagram account or handle, or you see their Facebook or their YouTube handle, then you can literally just follow them. And then you can always stay abreast of the kinds of moves they're making, because that becomes, that really helps you to build out in real time what your possibilities are for you, as not only as the children, but as the parents. Because let's face it, many of us are still trying to figure out what our dreams are, trying to figure out how to attain them dreams, and then trying to guide our children to figure that stuff out all from these little people on. And so it's like, that's a whole lot of figuring.
Yeah.
And so you're a math teacher and a coder and all that stuff. So you figuring out equations may be different from me figuring out equations. But I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of figuring. So we really wanted to we made sure that the people represented in these decks are people who are still alive today. We will be coming out at some point with a legacy card or edition that highlights those of us in the business, in various different business industries, who have made undeniable impacts on our culture and our prowess, right? And who have passed on. But we wanted to make sure that in this collection, especially this very first volume of cards, that people, parents and students, teachers and students, are able to go over. It's a 52 card deck of cards, right? And it's designed so that you can learn a new millionaire once a week. And so the idea is that you, at the top of the week, you will learn a new one. And then you on the back of the card, you get to read their bio. You get to read information about how their career started. You get to read about some of their major accomplishments, their honors, their education, what school they went to, if they even went to school, right? You get to learn about all of that stuff. And then you can take that information and then you can go research them more on YouTube. So you might just want to check out to see what videos they may have out, or whatever it is. You get to research them throughout the week. So you can do one every week for 52 weeks for the entire year. So that's really what we wanted to do with those cards.
That's beautiful. One of the biggest things that you said, and like, it's just been clicking in my head since you said it, that you put their handles on there so that you could follow them. And all I think about is how Kim, all the Kardashians got millions of followers, and all these other people have these millions of followers that are not doing or anything productive for us. It's just entertainment, but you can actually sit here and follow a person who's making an impact, who's making money, who's doing things that maybe you thought you couldn't do, and aspire to do better and be better as a person, period. It's like that's hot. I would have never thought of that. That's dope. I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that.
I hope it's helpful,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, just having that, I can imagine being on Facebook or Instagram and just scrolling through my timeline, and that's all I see. Like, how inspired would I be to just do better and be better? So yeah, that's everything.
Yes,
that's everything. So, is there anything that you want to add before we wrap it up? Like, that's pretty dope. Because I mean, most cards come in a 52 deck. You got something you could do every week, so it's not like overwhelming. I'm not trying to cram this all in one day. Again, talking about it at the dinner table, because that's something that we said we want to practice, is putting our phones away, talk to each other about our day, but then also how can we do better and be better. And that's something that we're intentional about with our kids. They're aware of what entrepreneurship is because that's what we do. And just having these intentional conversations. So man, you got me excited.
I'm glad. I'm super excited that you're excited. Well, one of the things that really I want to make sure that we put out there, because we touched on the fact that as parents these days, we're busy. Like, we just don't have any extra time to do anything, right? And one of the values of the flashcards is that even if it's one of those things where, like, my graphic designer, she was telling me, who is brilliant, by the way, she was telling me how one of the things she likes to do is with flashcards, she likes to be able to just have, when she picks up the children from school, pass them a flashcard. And with that, when she passes them that flashcard, then they're able to go over that material. And did I lose you, Candace?
Okay, you back. I got you.
Okay, perfect. I thought I lost you. Yeah, and with that, they're able to go over that flashcard, the content on that flashcard, and it's independent study, right? She knows what flashcard, what person or what flashcard they learned about that day, but the card itself, the execution or the transformation or the transference of this.
I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes. Okay, I got you.
I don't know where I cut out, but she was basically just saying that she loves flashcards because she can just hand one back during the commute from school or summer camp during this time of the year, without it being something that she has to be involved in, right? She can just hand them the card and it can really be independent study for them. And so that as another busy parent, that's a winner for me, right? Because I can just pass them that card, and then I can ask them, I can quiz them about it a little bit later on and be like, hey, who did you learn about today? And we can start a conversation like that without me having to be the teacher, so to speak, right? It's more independent learning.
That and that's the thing, like, because when you mention stuff like that, the first thing we want to do is get on Google and look up all these different things. But when the information is there, and I know you have it, I know you can read it and look over it, that makes it like 1,000 times easier, because you're not depending on them to do research and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, if they want to later, of course they can.
Yeah, sure.
But it's convenience. It's basically just convenience.
Yes,
and we've started using our car as a classroom too. Like, I remember growing up, well, when my children were growing up, we would play their little ABC songs, little rhyming songs, and that's just another aspect and another great way to add to learning. We drive into the grocery store, here, read this card real quick. Yeah. So yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's good stuff. And so so we just really look forward to really, with these cards, really empowering parents and educators, right? Because we feel like content like this should be in every classroom. Any classroom where it really should be, like, to be completely honest with you, it should be in every classroom, period. Right?
Yeah.
But okay, it don't have to be in everyone, but at least in
That's a whole other
classrooms
story.
where, yeah, you know what I mean? At least it can be in classrooms where our children are taught, right? Where it's important for us to see, you know, people who look like us doing extremely well. Not just okay, not just getting by, but extremely well.
Right. Because everything, in all honesty, revolves around belief level. And that's it.
Yeah.
If everybody you're around or whatever, or everybody you're introduced to or have seen is not doing much with their life, then you may feel that way. It might be that one person or that one card that will inspire you to say, hey, that's kind of dope. I think I'm capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And also, even like you mentioned that, and this is something as a college graduate that I've been speaking of a lot lately, and people will look at me sideways, is that you don't necessarily have to have a college degree to be successful. Yeah. And I know that that's kind of not a great thing to say, but you really don't. It really, depending on what it is that you want to do in life, you don't necessarily need a college degree to do it. Because as an entrepreneur, sometimes I feel like I wasted a lot of years in college, because 90% of the stuff I do now, I don't need a degree to get an EIN number. I don't need a degree to found my business. I don't need a degree to do a lot of the things that I do. So I think that that's important too. So if that is your path, great, but you can see that there have been people who've done it. But this is what that work looks like in order for you to get there too.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And we actually, by the way, we have features in the card deck, or in the deck, who dropped out of high school. Not that it's something that we're encouraging, but I mean, listen, the model of going to finishing high school and then going to get an undergraduate degree and then going to get a master's or a doctorate degree, like, that model is just not necessary anymore. It's an old model, right? It just, unless you are going to school for to become a physician or a nurse, or give me something else, just something very specific, a lawyer, like something very specific in that way. It's just not. You're talking about putting yourself in that pool of people who are just job seekers, right? Who may or may not actually see a return on their investment. The investment being the tuition that you paid, and you paying interest on, that you probably ain't gonna never pay that principal on, right? So but even still, the beauty about the cards is we identify the educational background for all of the people who are featured in the deck. So the one thing about being Black, so much we do so much. Like, there's so much diversity among Black folks in general, and how we achieve excellence, that you could never exhaust it. So that's one. I mean, that's just one of many things that we're super excited about exposing our people to, for these cards, that we really just can't get enough of sharing this information with people. And by the way, I should probably note that we just released the cards this week, right? And so for the very first, and actually technically we just released them like 2 days ago, right? And so for the first 1,000 cards, the first 1,000 decks that we sell, we are giving away 2 really big bonuses, because we want people to be able to get this information and to use it holistically, right? We really want to empower you to have everything you need to raise millionaires, right? Like, that's what Raising Black Millionaires is all about, right? And so those 2 bonus gifts are the How to Raise Your Black Child to Be a Millionaire, Child Rearing Secrets of the Black Elite, Volume 1 in ebook form. So that'll be sent to you right away. And then also, I'm sorry, that's actually, we're sending that to you in audiobook form. I'm sorry, my bad. You'll actually be able to hear out my conversations with these millionaires and that one billionaire who I told you I met at that conference. You'll actually hear my conversations with them. That's the first bonus that you get. The second bonus that you're going to get, if you are among that very first 1,000 people who get the decks of cards, is that you will get the household income review video training that we did, or that I did personally. In that video, we go over an old budget that we had. It was a real budget. I show you the actual Excel spreadsheet that we used in handling our household budget. And we had very little to work with in that budget. Mm-hmm. That was when I realized we were below the poverty line, right? But
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that was when we started using a budget, right? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make sure that we covered that information, because there's never a bad time to start doing stuff like that. And then in that training, I also take you through how we showed that same worksheet to our children and help them to see, okay, this is how much money is coming into the house every month. This is how we're paying the bills that come in every month with that money. And this is how we manipulate everything. And oh, by the way, if you want to do this week, then this is what it's going to take for us to be able to do that. If we need to do anything extra to bring any extra work, any extra money in, like I take you through all of that. One of the biggest questions I get on a regular basis is, how should I talk to my children about money? Right? How do I do that? Right? Because our parents didn't talk to us about money. Right? And so in that video training, I give you a really great crash course on how to begin talking to your children about money.
That's decent. Okay. That's something that we struggle with too. But we have little ones, but I feel like you can't really ever start too early.
Not at all.
Like taking them to the store and like just seeing how they process money and how it works. I'm like, no, it don't quite work like that. But then how do I explain to them how it does work? So right. That's and what you were saying about the budget, I don't think we ever sat down and took a real look at our finances until we were getting ready to buy a house. And when we just looked at how much money we would, because you swipe that card and you keep it moving. You swipe it and keep it moving.
Yeah.
We were like, when we looked at how much we spent just on eating out alone, it was nuts. Yeah. And so you can make so many adjustments, and you always say, well, I don't have enough to do this. But if you really sit down and look at what you're doing with your money, you probably might have a little bit in it to finagle something. So that's important. And like, I don't even know if I ever heard the word budget until I started taking like accounting classes and stuff. That wasn't something we talked about in our house.
Yeah.
So these are definitely conversations that we have to start having more. I don't know. I feel like talking about money for some reason though, it just makes us uncomfortable. And I don't understand why, but it's something that we do have to work through. So that's pretty dope. Cause I would love to just learn how to have that conversation and with my children at the ages that they are now. Cause my oldest is 8. So I'm like, well, how do I do that? So yeah, that's pretty dope. I like that.
And if I can just add one more thing to that, like that's the reason why we don't like talking about money, right? Because we're not used to having it, for one, right? So a lot of us experience shame because we feel like we know that we don't have enough to take care of all the needs, let alone the wants of our family. So we don't want to admit that to our children, right? And so we don't know how to adjust the perception of it all and create a conversation full of opportunity versus a conversation of lack. And so we don't want to have that conversation because we don't know how. And so if we do exactly like you're talking about, and we start having these conversations and just expose them to stuff like this early on, then what we do is we create a whole different paradigm shift. because our children won't grow up like us and be uncomfortable talking about money.
There you go.
Right. And so like when you're not uncomfortable with talking about it, then it's a whole lot easier to attract it.
Yeah.
So
that's
yes,
how you stop that cycle.
Yeah.
Don't stop it to address it. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's the point. Like, that's the point. That's the point. So yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's good stuff.
We got some work to do, y'all. Y'all better get out here and get these cards. So this is the first volume, right? The first volume of the Raising Black Millionaire cards. We already heard like a whole bunch of dope information about it. Only the first 1,000 people will benefit from that bonus. So we will definitely drop the link in the comments. Get on there and get your cards and start having these conversations today. Well, not tomorrow. I'm a good one for I do it later. I'm going to do it later. No. Get on there and get them now. Because, no, but for real, like, these are conversations that we have to start having. We can't keep avoiding them. And, I love my people. And so to know that you were able to even create a deck, because I didn't know that we have 52 millionaires. So to know that you were able to even create a deck with 52 millionaires in the end, you're going to create another one. That just shows that we are out here being great per usual. And it's not just, and I'm not downing athletes or entertainers, but I'm saying there's other ways to attain it. And so let's make sure we get out here and we support. Put the link in the comments and get your cards today.
Yes, ma'am.
You have anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am. Y'all just go ahead and we'll include the link to the raisingblackmillionaires.com website so that you can keep abreast of our articles that we put out, just giving you little tidbits of information to help you out. You're more than welcome to join our Facebook group, our Raising Black Millionaires parent group, where we really have created a community of parents and educators, because we you can't say parents without saying educators. Like, they really go hand in hand, right? But really a community that shares experiences, shares information, shares wins of when they've applied some of these things that we are learning, right? Because I'm the founder of Raising Black Millionaires, but please remember, I founded this movement to help myself, right, in my parenting journey with my husband. So we're a community of people, parents and teachers, who are looking to just exchange information and help each other to raise Black millionaires.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So also, if you get an opportunity, make sure you join the group as well. So this has been fun. Yes, educational, everything. So thank you again. I appreciate having you on, and I'm gonna talk to you again soon.
Yes, ma'am, indeed.
All right.
All right, peace.